Hello, I would like to give you a brief introduction to Smart Parts package. It's a mod package for KSP, and it contains some utilities here, or utility parts that can do certain things. And in order to show you what these do, I have built a little example craft, and this example craft is also contained in the next release of the Smart Parts package. And you see here we have a rocket consisting of several stages, several motors, and all across the rocket you see these orange parts. And these orange parts basically automate a lot of the behaviors of this rocket. So it will stage automatically, it will jettison the fairings automatically, it will deploy the solars automatically, and so on. And it can do that with these four different types of action group triggers, and I'll briefly talk about these action group triggers, and then we're gonna fly the rocket. Okay, one of the easiest triggers is actually the the timer trigger. The timer trigger is activated by an action group, so you need to set up an action group to activate the timer, and it has a delay in seconds, and it also has a slider here to select an action that it should do after the time has passed. So you can set it to stage, for example, or to enable the SCS or the RCS or the brakes or the abort action, and depending on what you put here, you will have a different result. The second part I would like to talk about is the altimeter. So again, we have the slider here. So for example, this slider here is set to 15, which means it will fire the group abort, and like we can look into the action group mappings to see what's in the group abort. In the group abort we have, well, we do have the parachutes and also the landing legs. And so this says when you're below 8,000 meters, 8 kilometers, fire the group abort. And well, we count in kilometers, not meters. We have the detection enabled, and we're only going to start after liftoff, which means it's only going to activate once we are above 8,000 meters. So we don't actually fire the altimeter right at start. Good. And there's another part, another interesting part, which is the radio controller. It can control a remote vessel, and it has a number of settings here. For example, it has a channel, so it will only control other radio controllers that are on the same channel. It can send certain events. For example, here it did send a stage event, but it can send any other event. And here we have also a slider for throttle, because it can also set the throttle of a different craft. And the last smart part I would like to talk about is the fuel sensor, and it will detect if a tank is empty. It's got to be attached directly to the tank, and once it's empty, it's going to fire a certain action group. For example, action group 5 in our example. Okay, here we have the rocket on the launch pad, and I'll launch right away. And what you'll see during the flight is that these action group devices here will fire next stage events, and also detach the fairings, extend the solar panels once the rocket is out of the atmosphere and reaches a certain height. And it's mostly automatic, nothing to do. So the first automatic thing you're seeing here is that these two rocket boosters detached, and yeah, let's look at the other rocket boosters a little bit closer. So first we have here a fuel sensor that will fire when the last bit of fuel has drained from this tank, and it will also fire a timer, and after a delay of 5 seconds, well, let's make it a bit shorter, make it 2 seconds. Yeah, well, this is just 1.5 seconds, that's okay. It will fire the parachutes, so that the parachutes don't go dancing like crazy. So you see both boosters have deployed the parachutes, and we're back at the rocket. Good, I'm gonna start the gravity turn now, and go a bit more aggressive than I typically do, because I've been busy talking and showing you the parachutes, so we're already a bit high. Okay, let's check this. Okay, we're at 55 kilometers, so we can actually go completely to zero to gain more orbital speed. And what you'll see next is the stage here was auto-staged away. And the good thing is this auto-staging also works in the map mode, so you can spend more time in the map mode and don't miss any staging events. This will make it a bit easier to navigate the rocket if you need to do complex things with many stages. Next thing to happen is that the rocket will automatically, at a height of I think 50,000 or above 50,000, will detach the fairings here, and also deploy the solars here. So that did happen, and once the last stage here is spent, there will be a sequence, a timed sequence. So first the stage is detached, 6 seconds later here this part is detached, and also the docking port opens here. And there was one more thing happening. The radio controller has transmitted a message to the satellite to turn on the RCS. So and it also has the satellite here synchronized. So if you look at the radio controller, there is this option SyncHead enabled, which means sync heading enabled, and so the satellite will also always turn in the same direction as our controlling vessel. Okay, I'll briefly dock, or quickly dock, with this satellite, and then we're gonna continue our journey to the lower Kerbin orbit. Actually, the synchronizing is very handy, because you can simply just point at the other part, and it's going to point back if you mount a rocking port on the back side. So that makes docking a lot easier, because you only have to think about one craft and not about two craft at the same time. So let's turn back towards our prograde vector and start our ascent. So actually I would like to achieve an altitude of about 100,000 meters, and I think that will work. I'm gonna accelerate time a little bit, so that it doesn't become too boring. Okay, just a little bit of navigation. I hope you're a patient person. Okay, now we have our apoapsis at 100,000 and our periapsis like almost at 50,000 or just above 50,000. Let's make it roughly circular, and I'm going to show you a bit more what these smart parts can do, especially the radio controller. Let's time warp, and here we are, or almost. We don't need to be so precise for this demonstration. Good. Okay, now we have a roughly stable orbit. It's okay, 103, 100. That looks pretty good. And I'm gonna show you a bit more about the radio controller. First, I'm gonna undock the satellite, and as you've seen before, we have this option, synchronized heading, enabled. So if I turn the craft here, the satellite will turn as well. And you'll see it has quite a bit problems stabilizing. It's because the SAS of this little probe is not very strong. And to help it a little bit, we can use the radio to enable the RCS. So we can select the RCS event, transmit the RCS event, and now you see it uses RCS and does a lot better job at stabilizing. Okay, the smart parts can do some more things. You can, for example, select where is it? The light group, and turn on and off the lights. And if I had more action groups defined for the satellite, I could also trigger the other action groups. Now I'm turning off the heading control, and you'll see that the red light at the radio controller, where is it, is off now, because actually the radio controller red light only is visible while it's transmitting or receiving. So if I transmit something, the red light goes on for a short time, and when it's done, it goes off. Okay, so we got our satellite in orbit, and now it's time for our deorbit burn. And you'll notice that I keep also the hatch here open and the solars deployed, and the reason for that is these trigger devices here, they also will trigger some things during re-entry. In particular, they should fire the parachutes, should retract the solar panels, and should also close the hatch here. You're gonna see it once we get closer to the planet. I time warp a little bit, so it doesn't take so long. I would like to land during daytime, so we can see what's happening. So I'll keep burning until my fuel runs out. So it's gonna be a very steep descent. Okay. Good, and so at I think 70 kilometers, I think it's defined for 70 kilometers. No, not really. Here, 70 kilometers. It retracts the panels here, and I think at 38 kilometers it will close the hatch and stage away the lower part of the rocket here. So let's accelerate a little bit. Okay, the stage is spent. So 38 kilometers. Yeah, you see, it closed the hatch, and it also staged away the lower part of the rocket. So now we're gonna enjoy some re-entry flames, and after that, at about 8,000 kilometers, it will automatically deploy, 10,000 kilometers, deploy the parachutes and also the landing legs. Okay, and that's about it for our demonstration. I think there's nothing special happening anymore, nothing you haven't seen before. So I hope you enjoyed this demonstration, and I hope you're gonna enjoy the smart parts. And well, download the file, try it out. Feedback in the forum is very welcome. I really appreciate it.